This year, I said I wanted to give back more, and one of the ways that I want to give back is teaching you guys how to start and grow YouTube channels, because I feel so grateful for the opportunity that I've gotten through this channel, and I want more of you to have that same opportunity. Plus, I think there's a lot of confusion about how the whole YouTube thing works. One of my friends, Naomi, has been dabbling in starting YouTube, so I want to give her and you guys 10 tips on how to start and grow a YouTube channel. Also, she doesn't know, I'm gonna be giving her this Acer Concept D7 laptop. It's worth $3,000 and she has no idea. I think this will be fun. This video is sponsored by Acer and NVIDIA RTX Studio. Thank you so much for sponsoring and letting me give this laptop to Naomi. I can't wait to see her reaction. Naomi! Look at her, she's helping an old lady already. You're already helping people around here and you don't even know where you are?
Where I am.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the office, Naomi. What does it look like in person versus what you've seen on video? This is your first time here.
Yeah, it looks really big. Bigger than I thought.
That's what people always say.
And the windows too.
Okay, so this is Naomi. Naomi, who are you? What do you do?
I am a university student and I'm trying to make YouTube videos as best as I can.
I like that answer.
Yeah.
I like that answer. Yeah, YouTube can be really, really hard to start and even more hard, I think, to grow. But I think I've learned a bunch of stuff over the last 3 years that I've done YouTube. So I thought I'd give you some tips. I hope you're okay with that.
Oh,
and you guys too. So first off, we're gonna talk about what is your channel about. You gotta figure that out. Have you figured out what your channel is about?
Yeah.
What's your channel about, Naomi?
It's not gonna be makeup and all that beauty stuff. It's more like lifestyle.
Is it kind of about the things that you're going through,
Yeah.
university life, all that stuff? Sweet,
Yeah.
okay. So in the beginning, I would 100% recommend trying to find kind of your niche area, a smaller area. And how do you find that niche area? Well, I think it's two things. First off, it's something that you're really into, and hopefully something that you're good at. Something that you have knowledge or expert info, you have experience around, and then you need some gear, right? You need some cameras, you need some stuff. And I would personally right now recommend the Canon cameras, I think, if you're doing YouTube, just for self-filming with their flip LCD screens, the autofocus, the color science, all of that stuff. I think they're the easiest cameras to use for YouTube. What's your camera right now?
It's the Canon Rebel, I think T3, or something like that.
And then it has a flip LCD
Yeah.
screen? Yeah. So that's a great starting place. That's a really great camera to use. It's not too expensive, but still a really decent camera. And then for the lens, I'd say try to go as wide as possible. In YouTube, you want it to feel raw. And so when it's nice and wide, it kind of makes the viewer feel like they're right there with you. So anything that's 24 mil or even wider, I think, is a good starting place. So you have the kit lens. It's a 18 to 35, I
Yeah.
think. So that's really nice and wide at 18. It makes you feel like you're right there with you. I guess I should actually have my setup right here. So I'm on the Canon EOS R. I have a really nice wide lens. This is the 16 to 35 on a full frame. It's really wide. And then after that, you need a really good microphone. Sound matters. It really makes a difference. Are you using a microphone right now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Wait, did I give you a
Yeah, you
microphone?
did. It's yours.
I gave you a microphone. The Rode Video Mic Pros or Micro or whatever they're called. There's a whole bunch of different Rode mics that go straight on top of your camera. I think these are probably the best to start out with. I think the cheaper ones are between $60 and $100. That's a really great starting point. And then one of these little GorillaPod tripod things. They're pretty handy. I have my gripes with them, but they're pretty handy for YouTube filmmaking when you need to move really quickly and set it up really quickly. For example, it was just set up on this stool. Good job, Matt, setting it up on the stool. That was totally me. So yeah, you need a camera. After that, you obviously need a computer. For example, this Acer Concept D7, which is specifically made for creators in mind. It's just packed full of features built specifically for people like us who like to edit videos, edit photos, do maybe Photoshop or even After Effects. It's packed with power with the 9th gen Intel Core i7 processor with 6 cores and can execute 12 threads. It's got an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 with Max-Q design. All of this power means that you can edit 6K red raw footage real time, and overall it's just gonna be faster for video editing, exporting, and rendering. And it passes the DJI drone footage test. If you don't know, DJI drone footage is notoriously slow and skippy. As you can see, it perfectly scrubs through the drone footage, and once I hit play, it starts playing immediately. It comes with a 1TB SSD for fast storage. It's nice and quiet with the fans producing less than 40 dB of noise. And best of all, this thing has a really high quality, super precise monitor, so it's really good for color grading, editing your photos, all of that stuff. With a 4K UHD Pantone validated screen, you can really trust the color accuracy on this laptop, whether you're color grading footage or editing photos for print. The colors are gonna be accurate, so there's no surprises when you go print that photo. And remember, not only is this perfect for creatives, but it's also pretty dang good for gaming too. All this performance in less than 18 millimeters, plus it has a bunch of ports. It's honestly crazy to have all of this power inside of a laptop. And since, Naomi, obviously you need a really powerful laptop to edit photos, video, all of that stuff, this one is for you.
Thank you. Thanks.
No, actually.
Wait, actually?
No, like actually, you can have it.
Thanks. I thought you were actually paying.
No, it's actually yours.
Oh, thank you.
I asked Acer and they were cool with it. They're gonna let you have the
sick.
laptop.
Oh my gosh, I just don't want to like ruin it or anything. It's too white as well.
I think she's secretly like freaking out and doesn't want to fully.
I don't know what to say. I'm like, oh my gosh, thanks for the laptop.
Does it feel a little surreal or?
Yeah, like I've never been gifted a laptop. Like,
I think at first you thought I was just doing it for the video.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're like, oh, thanks.
Thanks, yeah, I'll just play along. But like, if you're actually giving it to me, oh yeah, I'll definitely take it.
Thank you, Acer. Really appreciate you guys sponsoring this video and letting me give the laptop to Naomi, helping starting channel out. All right, so now that you have your new laptop, let's talk about editing. You gotta learn how to edit. What editing program?
Premiere.
But what were you were just on
iMovie.
iMovie is a great place to learn. That's where I started too, but now you're on the more pro level Premiere. I appreciate that. That's what I'm on right now. And there's a ton of stuff I could say about editing. The 3 programs that I would look at are Premiere, probably Final Cut Pro, and then DaVinci. DaVinci because it's free. You can actually, it's a really powerful program. It's completely free. Anybody can download and use it right now. Final Cut Pro might be maybe the easiest one to learn. And the one tip I will give you is watch your stuff, and if anything feels boring or a little bit too long, just cut it out. Less is more. I think that's like the biggest thing that I've learned from people who are just starting out. They tend to put in too much, and you just need to cut it away. I think it's a tendency of like you shoot a whole bunch of stuff and you're like, but this was a good shot, I want to put it in. But then it doesn't really fit, and then you're just forcing it in there, so just like cut it out.
Got it.
How's editing for you so far?
It's good. I used Premiere at school, like in high school, so I kind of got used to it.
Yep.
So it's just like, okay, and now it's just a little bit more updated. I have to figure that out.
It's just a little bit better.
Yeah. It's been good.
And then number 4, music is obviously really important for videos. You need music, and you may have learned this the hard way. You can't just use whatever music you hear on the radio or whatever.
Yeah.
What music are you using now?
Epidemic Sound.
That is the right answer. I was gonna say Epidemic Sound is probably the best place to start. There's a free trial down below, so if you want to just try it out, you can just cancel if you don't like it. But it is a really great place to get music that you can use on all of your YouTube videos. I think it's really worth investing even a little bit of money into music, because it makes a big difference if you have like really crappy music versus like the good music.
Yeah, like the iMovie music. Wait,
the iMovie music you hear everywhere. Why is that so? Oh, right. It's the iMovie built-in stock music. That music is fine to start out with and learn with, but you want a little bit higher quality music. That's gonna be a big deal for your channel. Okay, so now you basically have everything that you need to start the channel, right? and now you actually have to start it. So that's number 5. What I see a lot of people making the mistake of is they're trying to figure everything out before they even start the channel. And the problem with that is you have no idea what you're getting yourself into until you start making some videos. But how long did it take you to make that first? I bet you were thinking about it for a little while about like starting. I remember you talking about I want to start a YouTube channel,
for
but
like a year or so, and then I was like, just do it. And I was like, okay, fine, and I just made it because I was like, I just gotta get the first one out, and then.
And the thing is, your first videos are gonna be your worst videos. That's just how it is. You look at my first videos; they're the worst videos on the channel, probably. Even though I think one of my first is the most viewed video. 9 out of 10 times when I'm talking to somebody who I've met at a meetup or something like that, and they're like, oh, I really want to start a YouTube channel, and I've been planning it out for like a year now. It's that exact same thing that you're going through. Everybody wants to try to figure it out before they start, and it does not work. And I'm sure you've learned way more now starting to make videos than your planning year phase.
Yeah, definitely.
And then let's get into the good stuff, the real meat of it. Probably the stuff that you really want to hear is how do you actually grow a channel? We've kind of gone through how to like start it, but how do you actually grow it? And to me, it's actually really simple, but very difficult at the same time. All it takes is good titles, good thumbnails, and good content.
There you go.
That's it. That's literally it. Okay, if I asked you, what does a good title and good thumbnail look like? What would you say?
Something that will make someone want like what's going on in the video, you know, and a thumbnail that's like, or like
she knows the YouTube game. Yeah, it's a little bit like you had to think about it for a second. It's a little bit subjective. Like one person might think that this thumbnail is really good, and then another person who's been doing YouTube for a while might be like, no, that's actually not that good of a YouTube thumbnail. But overall, I think a good thumbnail and title, there's a hook in there. They're a little bit clickbait, just a little bit, but not clickbait to the point that you're outright lying about something. Like for example, if you had a photo of like me giving $10,000 to Naomi, and then the title was like, giving my friend $10,000, and then really it was just a joke about like I was just like, I'm not gonna give this, and I didn't actually give. That's just outright lying, and I think you might hook some people in, but you're not gonna keep them around. You're not gonna get them to subscribe. You're right away deceiving them, and that's not really a good place to start with. Has it been hard for you to make titles and thumbnails?
Yeah, I don't think about taking them when I'm filming.
Yeah.
So I'll just be like editing, like, oh, I need a thumbnail, so I'll just take a screenshot from the video. But that's because that's all I have, so it isn't really a good thumbnail.
That's a great point. I think everybody kind of starts out that same way, just like, oh shoot, I need a thumbnail, and then just grab a screen grab, oh, this kind of looks good. But it's not really the best. I would 100% recommend actually taking a photo, thinking about it a little bit, whether it's after or before, but thinking about what would make a good thumbnail. And even when I'm coming up with a video idea, I'm already thinking about like, is there a good title and thumbnail? Because sometimes you have a good idea for the video, but there's no really interesting way of hooking in people with a title and thumbnail, and that makes me, question then, is the video idea that good, or is there a different way that I can do it to have a really good title and thumbnail? And then let's talk about good content. This one I think gets even more murky as to like what would you say is good content?
Well, what I learned from you is it's something that tells a story, something that has a point to it.
That's a great connection to what I would say is, I think you want to provide value, which is what I do in a lot of my videos. You've learned from my videos, and then entertain. I think that's like the combination of good content is providing some sort of value. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to teach tutorials, but maybe you're inspiring people or just a different perspective on life. But you also wanna entertain. I think if you can make a tutorial and it can be really boring, or you can make it a little bit more interesting, like giving away a laptop to your friend. And a good measure of if you're providing value is how searchable it is. So like if people are searching like, a review on the Acer Concept D7. If I make a review on that, it's gonna be really easy to search for people that are interested in good laptops. Or I might title it some of the best laptops for video editing or something like that. And that's easily searchable. People are interested in what's the best computer for editing. If your channel isn't growing, then I think it's an issue with either your title, thumbnail, or the content. And if you think all of those are good, I think you need to kind of step outside of yourself for a second and be really self-aware and look at it. Maybe ask your friend and ask like, okay, is there a better way of doing this thumbnail? Like, would you click on this thumbnail? Do you like this title? And we do this all the time with other YouTubers. We'll send each other messages like, what do you think about this title versus this title? And get that other perspective from somebody else. But 100%, if you have good titles, good thumbnails, and good content, your channel will grow. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Did you learn something?
I did.
Okay, good.
I like analyze like YouTubers that I watch too.
Yeah.
And I like can pinpoint where you say like what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly. If you look at any of like the top guys, the people that are getting really good views, those are really good examples of good titles and thumbnails. And then number 7, when you're trying to grow your channel, I think you want to use your other social media platforms to kind of push to YouTube. I think YouTube right now is by far the strongest platform to build a brand on, to make money from. There's so many different ways that you can make revenue from YouTube right now. But things like Instagram, TikTok, are you on TikTok?
Yeah.
I recently started checking out TikTok, seeing what it's about. Maybe I'll play around with it in the future.
That'll be fun.
I don't know if my demographic is super into TikTok. My demographic is more like the 18 to 35, but I
you never know. Yeah, you might like get really big on there too.
I think you want to use those platforms to kind of get that YouTube channel going, get those first subscribers, because it's really hard to get that first like 100, first 1,000. Those are the hardest milestones to hit, and to get those views. Have you been doing this? Have you been sharing the YouTube stuff on your? Okay, how many followers do you have on all your other in total on your other platforms?
If I was to add them all up together, probably like a couple thousand.
Yeah, so you already have a couple thousand people that you can now show your videos to, whereas when you start your YouTube channel, you probably don't have much subscribers on there yet. So use the other platforms, direct them to YouTube. And then number 8, this one is the hardest thing to explain, and it's consistency. I don't think people realize just how much work it is making YouTube videos. And when people say consistency, they think like, oh, I just need to post a video a week or 2 videos a week and then I'm good. But it's more than that. It's consistently trying to push yourself, make higher quality content, working really hard at them. And it just takes a lot of time. I don't even just setting this video up, you probably noticed how much time it takes just to set up this little interview talking shot right here. And you making your own videos, I'm sure you've noticed how much work it is.
It is, especially when I'm working like part-time and a university student, it's hard to balance everything, but it's starting to get easier. I'm starting to find like times in which I can dedicate, like 5 minutes to like writing an idea down or writing the script or filming this, but it's hard.
And some things do get easier, but then some things also get harder because you're like, oh, I want to do an even better quality video. I want to tell this story in a better way and it takes more effort. I got to go over there and film this and over there. So some things do get easier, but overall, running a YouTube channel does not get any easier.
It's really hard.
And it doesn't get any easier when it gets bigger. I think that's the big misconception people have is once you get 100,000 subscribers or whatever the number would be, then you can kind of like sit back, relax. It's a little bit easier. But no, I'm telling you, it only gets harder. And that's the consistency is really where the hard work and the grind comes into play. And that's the biggest thing that people underestimate with YouTube. How consistent have you been?
Not consistent, to be honest. I have not.
And I'm telling you, everybody that I've watched from like, the channels that I've been watching, everybody who stays consistent and has the good title, good thumbnail, good content grows. As long as you just keep it going, it will continue to grow. So try to make time for it, try to work hard.
That's the hardest thing.
And make those channels. And I haven't said it yet, but go send Naomi some love. I'll link her channel down below, her Instagram. Go and support her. She's just starting out, just like a lot of you. So it helps to have that initial support from other people.
Thanks.
No worries. Then let's talk about making money. Have you made any money from YouTube yet?
No. I cannot say I have.
And I'm not laughing at her because we've all been there. That is what YouTube is. And I wouldn't say in the beginning you want to worry too much about making money because until you're getting at least like I'd say probably around 10,000 views, you're not going to be making really any money from YouTube. So you should really just be focusing on making the best possible content. But once those views start racking up, once you get some subscribers, the best thing to do is maximize your revenue streams. So one of the big mistakes a lot of channels do is they only focus on brand deals and AdSense. So money from views and then trying to get brand deals. But that's really hard when you're just relying on those two things, because if, let's say, something happens, algorithms change and whatever, and your views go down all of a sudden, then your income goes way down because you're just relying on those two things, which both increase or decrease depending on if you're getting more or less views. So my strategy has been always to have as many revenue streams as possible. And I probably have like, I'd say at least 10 different ways that I'm making money from YouTube, whether it's selling my own presets or affiliate links, courses. There's just a whole bunch of different ways that I'm making money, not just brand deals and AdSense, which are great too. But the more you can maximize your revenue streams, the more safer it's gonna get. And the earlier you can go full-time, the earlier you can go full-time on YouTube, the more you can put into it. Just like you're saying, you're working a job, you're in school, you're having to do so many other things. So the earlier you can go full-time YouTube, the faster it'll just like skyrocket the growth.
Yeah.
Are you worried that you're putting in all this time and effort and work into it and you're not making a single dollar so far?
That's not my concern. I'm like not worried about making money.
That's the right attitude right there.
It's just about learning how to make good content and like getting a good flow of like working and all that stuff.
I think most people who have the goal of just making money, they usually don't make it in YouTube because their motivations are so wrong. But I think your motivations are in the right place, where you just want to learn and make fun content. And then through that, your channel is going to grow. And then later on, you'll hopefully make some money from YouTube.
That'd be kind of nice.
I can't wait for you to get that first few cents from AdSense or making money. So for the beginning, do not worry about making money. Just focus on making really great content. And then lastly, this probably isn't the advice that you're expecting, but I would say be yourself. The thing about being yourself is that it makes you unique. You are unique and nobody else can be you. So that's what makes your channel personal and unique to you. So try to be as genuine as possible. Is it hard to be genuine on video for you?
Not me. I kind of really like the camera, but it does. Like when you're trying to be your most authentic self, I kind of like people won't like it, so.
Yeah, it's scary, right? Putting yourself out there, maybe people will write bad comments or negative feedback. Yeah, it's scary being yourself, but I promise you, the more genuine you can be, it really comes out on video and people respect it and like that. People want real people and they don't want this fakeness. I think fake characters and these built up things can work for a while. Like a Logan Paul, he had this crazy character, people were loving it. But eventually it collapses. And I think that's for a few reasons. One is that you end up building this character and then all of a sudden you realize that people think you're this character. And so when you go out in public or you hang out with your friends or you meet somebody, they expect you to be that character. And that's not healthy for the brain because it's not you. So that's one of the big problems. And then I think a lot of times, like with Logan Paul, it can get out of hand really easily. And so that just makes everything even worse. So you probably actually have a better start to this than I do because I felt really awkward on camera at first and you've done acting and drama and that kind of stuff. Do you have any tips for how you were able to be more genuine and personal on camera?
I didn't really compare myself to my favorite YouTubers because I was like, this person's my age and they're already making this much money and they already have this many views. But I'm like, if I just be myself, it makes the videos I edit more entertaining for me.
Yeah.
And I think easier to make ideas and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think people see other YouTubers and they're like, oh, I'm gonna do what they're doing, and they just try to copy, and that doesn't work out. In the long run, you can't just copy someone. You have to have your unique style, your unique personality. So for me, because I felt more awkward on camera in the beginning, it really helped me. I had this kind of epiphany or realization when I started to treat the camera as a person instead of a camera that it's really weird staring at this little black hole there. When I talk to it, I feel like I'm talking to a person. I kind of had that connection of oh, somebody's gonna watch this, and so therefore I'm talking to a person. So it's really natural for me to talk to you. It may not be natural to talk to the camera, but if I can just imagine that you are that camera.
Yeah, it makes it easier.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to be yourself and just be genuine. Okay, this was probably a really, really long video. I really appreciate you giving some insight as kind of a newbie YouTuber.
Yeah.
You're gonna start growing. I guarantee you, you just make that good content, stay consistent with it. And I hope you guys learned a bunch from this video, because these are the things that I've most learned about YouTube doing it for 3 years. And I think if you do follow these steps or these tips, you will grow. If you're not growing, it's because you're not following one of these things, or you're not doing one of these things to its maximum potential. So try to be as self-aware as possible and just really evaluate where your channel is and where you need to be. Thanks so much, Naomi, for being on the video.
Having me.
And enjoy the freaking Acer
Thank you.
laptop.
I definitely will.
I still think that was one of the best reactions. Let me reenact. Thank you.
You have it. It's actually yours.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wait, no.
Yeah.
I thought it was just for the video. Oh my god! I feel like that.
I was like,
So great. Earlier you said you also don't have ND filters, so
Yeah.
here's some ND filters.
Oh, sick.
And camera bag. This is a Peak Design camera bag, so you can have that one also.
This is nice.
Now you have no excuses, Naomi.
I know.
No
it's like I
excuses.
have to at this
You
point.
have to.
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna fill an entire video and then edit it and stay up all night.
Heck yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, thanks for being in the videos. I appreciate you.
Cool. Thank
Best
you. I
of luck.
appreciate you too.